Hey, welcome to the first episode on how to make your own surf map. In this series we'll be covering all the basics to have your own fully working map. In addition to these videos, I highly recommend watching TopHATTWaffle's amazing beginner tutorial series to learn almost everything on Hammer, and you might even pick up some good habits. Link is on the screen. To get started, we need to install Hammer World Editor, which can be found inside the game's SDK. There are two of them, CSGO, which I will be using, or Source for all other Source games. They are both essentially the same except for different textures and some other minor details. They can be found under Tools section in the game's drop-down menu. Once you're done with all that, we can get started. First things first, we want to change a few settings for optimized workflow. Under Tools, click Options. Now, you might not understand what all of these do, but you will in due time. First, I changed the default texture scale up from 0.25 to 0.5. Basically, textures will be twice as big when you place them down. This is optional, but I recommend it for surf maps since the levels are usually very large. Secondly, I changed the default light map scale to 128. This is essentially how smooth shadows will be on a given surface. The default value will make compile take a century. Besides, surf maps don't need to have very detailed shadows. Then, in the 2D views panel, enable default to 15-degree rotations. Rotating objects without it is a pain in the ass. Then, enable arrow key nudge selected object / vertex. This allows you to move blocks using arrow keys. Will come in handy later. And lastly, reorient primitives and creation in the active 2D view, which we will look into later when we are dealing with more complex geometry. And to finish it all off, in the 3D views panel, pull the back clipping plane to the maximum, provided your computer can handle it, and move forward speed to the 5000s. Now with that boring stuff out of the way, let's get into the exciting part. Create a new map. File, New, or Control N. There are 4 viewports. Top left is the 3D view, which allows you to see the map in 3D. Top right is the top view, and bottom left and bottom right are front and side view. The 4 viewports might look a little weird, and the panels on the side might take up a lot of space, but you can simply click and drag them as you want. And once you're done with that, you can press View, Auto Size for views, or Shift A for short. First of all, we need to select a special texture for optimization purposes, known as No Draw. So on the right hand side, click Browse next to the image. Then type No Draw without any spaces and select the yellow image that shows up. This is a face that's not drawn. This texture should be on every surface we cannot see. Once you've clicked on it, press Escape or click the Close Window button or just double click on the texture. Whenever you make a cube or any object, it will have the texture shown on the right applied to all faces of the object. By clicking the white cube on the left side or by using the shortcut Shift B, we are now using the block tool, which allows us to create world geometry. I'm going to make a floor, so by clicking and dragging the top right viewport representing the top view, we are shaping what will soon be a cube. Right now it's not existing, so you can press Escape to deselect it. Remember that if there's ever some weird selections you can't seem to get rid of, just press Escape. You can use the handlebars to reshape it, and you can click and drag inside the white square to drag it around. Press Enter to finalize it. You can move around in the 2D viewports by holding space and clicking and dragging no matter what tool selected. Furthermore, you can use the bracket keys to change the size of the grid. We now want to look at the inside of the 3D viewport. So by putting your mouse inside the viewport and pressing Z, you can now use WASD and the mouse to move around. In the top left side of the 3D viewport, there's written Camera. If you click on it, a drop-down menu shows up and you need to select 3D Texture to be able to see the textures. Now you should be able to observe a yellow box with the word No Draw written all over it, but that is nowhere close enough to be something usable. So let's make it into a room. First, click on the arrow found on the top right side or press Shift S to enable select mode, which makes it possible to redimension existing blocks or rotate, duplicate, etc. Then either left click the cube inside the 3D viewport or press on either the cross in the middle of or the edges of the cube in the 2D viewports. Now in both the bottom left and bottom right viewports, you should see the handlebars and the red-yellow outline. This means it's currently selected. So by clicking and dragging inside the square, you can move it around. But if you hold the Shift key before letting go of left click, you duplicate it. So duplicate it up to the left corner and redimension it so it's basically a rotated floor. We do this for both sides. And then again in the bottom right viewport. Then finally, we can duplicate up the floor to be our ceiling. We now have a sealed off box. If you fly into the box in the 3D viewport, you should not be able to see the void. For a map to work, the inside needs to be sealed from the outside. Within our box, we're going to add some textures. To do this, you first need to go inside the box, then by pressing the colored cube on the left side, side, or by pressing Shift A, we get the texture application menu. With this open, you press on browse, type in any keyword you're looking for like grass or concrete or brick, then double click the texture you want, or press it and close the browser window. Now move the menu away from the 3D viewport so we can start applying some textures. You can now right click on any surface to apply the currently selected texture. I'm applying grass to the floor and concrete to the walls. We want the map to be outside, so we need a sky. To do this, close the Face Edit Sheet menu and use the selection tool, Shift S, to select the ceiling. Then we open the Face Edit Sheet menu, Shift A. The whole cube is now selected, so we'll apply the texture to all faces instead of only one when we right click. Click Browse and search for Tool Skybox and select the blue one that says 3D Skybox. Close the browser window and then hit the Apply button right under the Browse button. Now close the Face Edit menu. By flying outside the room, you'll see that outside there's still the yellow texture, except for the roof that's blue, but inside there's all the textures. This is basically optimization. Don't draw any unseen faces. There's a few more things to make our map work, and that is a player spawn, a sun, and serve ramps. First, by pressing the weird looking object above the white cube on the left side, or by simply pressing Shift E, you can now click inside the 3D viewport to place down a terrorist spawn. If you look on the right side on the objects, you'll see what object will be placed when you left click. Place down 2 terrorists. Then, using the select tool, double click on one of the terrorists inside the 3D view. Right on the class, press on the info player terrorist and type environment. Select light environment and hit apply. Then you can look through the different options yourself, but the major ones are pitch. Press it and type -90 to make the sun shine straight down. Then, under brightness and ambient, you can change the colors emitted by the sun and what colors the shadows will be. Remember, do not go for vibrant colors, go for very faded ones. Otherwise, it looks unrealistic. Now you can close this window. We now have a fully working map. If you press F9 or the cog on the top middle part of the screen, it opens up the compile menu provided you have saved. If you haven't, this is a good time to do so. In the compile window, just leave everything for now and press on OK. It will open up CSGO by itself when it's done compiling. And you can only play terrorists since we haven't placed any CT spawns down yet. If you get some red text saying something leaked, that means you haven't properly sealed up your map. To help fix this, you can try pressing Map Load Point File and follow the red line to see where the void and the inside of your map meets. Then, when you're done, press the Unload Point File instead. In the next episode, we will see how to make surf ramps and different stages. Until then, thanks for watching.